Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Take 2, because I kind of dozed off in the middle of recording this last night and bad things occurred, what with my health meter. So hopefully things will go better this time. Anyway, last time we stopped Luke Atmey's larceny trial because he's now our #1 suspect in the murder of Kane Bullard. Let's go. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive? Inside your heart? Nicky boy? Oh, Miss Delight. Is it true that Detective is the real killer? To be honest, I don't have any definite proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But, wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atmey want to kill Kane Bullard? Oops, it's almost time, better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. As you can see, Nick is fully prepared. Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmey, please take the stand. It's also been a hot minute since I had to do Luke's voice, so the French accent has kind of left me. Well, how do you do, sir lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask Damask. I'm sorry. I'm afraid even the great Luke Atmey has no idea what you mean. Of course, I've been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask Damask. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Mask Damask. Of course. Very well then, Luke Atmey. Let's begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. Alright, Mr. Atmey. The night of the murder. Speak. We're listening. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. I could go for some coffee right now. I don't need to wake up or anything, I just like the taste. I was stealing the urn as Mask Damask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Mask Damask was the same time as the murder. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. Even the great Mask Damask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atmey, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. How dare you steal Franziska's lines? I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. Triple snap. Sorry for snapping so close to the microphone there. I truly apologize. The alibi was stealing the urn as Master just as I announced I would. So this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. That is why I am called Mask de Mask. But conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell who this really is. What do you mean?
Objection!
Ha! Are you saying that this is not, in fact, Luke at me? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Master Mask to create an alibi? Oh ho! What an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? I'm gonna back off from this one. If Luke Atme was at KB Security during the murder, then the Master Mask in this picture has to be a fake. Then there really was an accomplice. But right now I have no idea who it was. I don't have any idea right now either. Baseless objections are just what that guy wants. There's gotta be another way. I'm going to find it. Because, yeah, I don't... Okay. Well, then let's try this. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed, there was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that's true. It is kind of odd. Photograph contains no words. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here? Is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose.
Objection!
He was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up. We all have days like that. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody. It looks like I'd better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's gotta be something phony in that photo. But what? About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now, it's all too clear what you're thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it's Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered. I see. Looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious. So, this alibi is false? It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. We just learned that the photo isn't fake. Wait. No, but that... No, because... Yeah, the arms. Yeah, no, it can't be. It can't be the statue. I got nothing here. I guess we gotta go full force into this one. If Luke Atman was at KB Security during the murder, then the mask in this picture has to be a fake. Exactly. You had an accomplice. Now remember you've said that, Mr. Trite, because there's no going back. If you're making baseless claims, I'll treat you to a penalty myself. That penalty is probably boiling hot, too. So who is it, Mr. Trite? Who is the accomplice? God, I don't... Because she did say she had the... Statue should have been there. Let's give it a shot. Nope. Okay. Because then I guess the argument you can make is like the camera would have taken the picture the moment movement was seen. Okay. That was wrong. I don't know. See, I'm looking through here. Part of me kind of wants to say this so that we can argue, like, wait, how can Mask to Mask be an accomplice if he's Mask to Mask? Oh, and that's because he's not Mask to Mask. And there's him, but he would sort of be an unwilling accomplice. And then there's my old hypothesis. Let's give them all a shot then, I guess. Nope. Forgot I had my mic muted because of family interruptions. Why does it specify that this was written with a fountain pen? Anyway, yeah, I was looking at this and it brings up the red diamond that is currently on Luke's ring. I'm clutching at straws here. I have no clue. Like, none whatsoever. Huh? Wait, it's not letting me speed through this. Okay, so by photograph, you mean the piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I read this. Everything that proves you committed the crime. Surely even you understand by now. Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered. This is the same thing. Why is it not letting me skip this? It means I could not have killed Kane Bullard unless I had an accomplice. Is that new? I'll think long and hard about that night. Basement warehouse, and this is new. Okay. Was not expecting that. Oh, so it was just one of those arbitrary, like, hey, you need to, like, watch this thing and then go back through, and I don't know. Basement warehouse in this picture that supposedly captures it. It's gotta be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? Yeah! I was bringing this up. You implying that this picture is a fake? Bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place. And there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? The fact that the statue isn't there. Because that's why I was sort of thinking on one of my stupid attempts. It was like, oh, maybe he dressed up the statue, but no. Because the statue's moved. The funny part is right here. Why this? This is a blood stain. Ah, blood! Now this case is getting interesting. Not exactly. This isn't Danganronpa. That stain is just pink paint. Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that. From blood to peaches. The judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Uh-oh. Well, Mr. Wright? What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? Easy. I was bringing this up like, shit, days ago. Supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon. That golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there. Objection. But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally? Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it in that distance, or move it that distance. Ha! In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? It had to be Luke. The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke at me. Because he needed it to match something. I was getting at this at some point, but come now, Celoya. Where do you... there you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue... Here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me. You pretended to be Mask to Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you moved the statue. A single fatal flaw? Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does the lie exist? Because he had to have taken the picture on a separate day. Maybe, but also let me think about this. I want to be absolutely certain. Because... Wait, would the paint be important in any way, actually? Hold on. No, I don't think the paint would matter, and I did get a closer look to make sure the date wasn't mentioned here. There is no date. So this could have been taken at any point. So going back to my previous hypothesis, he took this picture a day before, and then he saw the statue there. He's like, oh, wait. They'll be able to see that, like, things don't line up, so I have to move the statue out the way so this matches the security photo that was taken earlier. Okay, naturally the lie in this photo is the timestamp. Well, what do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atme went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. Would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time. Now we got him. But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was this statue placed besides the warehouse door? Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime. And it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Atme had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. What the? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. Huh. So on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. One moment. And back. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match the way it had been in his photo. Got him. Order! Order! Mr. Atme, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. Sure that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. That's what was throwing me off. I completely forgotten it was his program. Completely forgot. Order! Order! Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot! I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down. My 11th cup. I've promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good till the last drop. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points. I think you got your points mixed up with your other points. So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time. and that the statue is moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied, which is that it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. What? That's very true. No way, don't fall for that, Your Honor. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as mask to mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. Okay. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box and, it was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. That's pretty much all stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we'll find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? Sorry. Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Alright, Pinocchio. Sacred Urn heist, here we go. Received the request from Lola Taylor. You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, is that right? Indeed, it seemed that they had heard of my sparkling reputation. I see Miss Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. You better watch out too, Maya. Okay. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn, and she wouldn't let anyone into the storeroom, not even me. Huh, interesting new tidbit. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, look at me, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. You mean this calling card? That's right. It is, without a doubt, my calling card. I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Of course, because Atme knew about the emblem. Making this card authentic would have been child's play to him. Then no one entered the basement warehouse? Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. There's like nothing in here. And this is the photo that proves that, huh? Indeed, to be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Hey Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Abby might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court record. Not a lot to go on, is there? The detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's one thing that Atme stated very clearly. that he had never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove that he's lying. Huh. I kind of get that, and I think I know what we're gonna say, like... He's gonna look at it and say, like, oh yeah, of course, the urn always said Ami, but then we'll have, like, I am there. I think it's gonna come back to that. I just need to know where to present that on. Wait. I never even noticed that. Speckled urn. Did I misread that as special? Oh my god. So, yeah, he said he never saw it. Okay. I was just going down the line, checking everything again, because Phoenix was like, need to pay extra attention to the court record. But, Mr. Atme, if you really are Mask the Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Mask the Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true, but so what? Truth be told, there is no way that Mask the Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor. Got him. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. Ugh, you can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme has seen the urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. I feel like they just made Godot a coffee addict just so they could have a reason to have a spit take animation. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Yeah. Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. Huh? Ha. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask the Mask. And now we're calling him a murderer. I mean, Mask the Mask can be a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point. No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You say that Luke Atme was the one who killed Kane Bullard. Let me ask you this. Why would he do that? An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright? Motive? Might you... What? Might you, my merry murderous motive manifest? Nick! He's getting his second wind. He prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ron Delight, as you say. He must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Not really. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us to what the defendant's motives were. Thank you, Sir Old Timer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Okay. Look at me, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate mask to mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is masked to mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. How would you know all that? So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant? This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Well, that's new. Very well, Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination. Wait. No. It was the other way around. This wasn't blackmailing Ron, this was blackmailing Luke. Oh, wow. That changes a lot. I think I know where to go exactly, though. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000. And the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's. There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment. Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder. What's up, Nick? We have the same idea. Just had a thought. Okay, maybe I can actually finish this up now. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Whoa, do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? So what I just presented here? I guess I do. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. You said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight. I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed. Time to man up, Mr. Wright. Oh my God. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. In the content? So then why do you have me right here? What? Normally they would just let me select the... in the content of the blackmail. Okay, I can point to it, but what's going on here? Okay, I'm gonna have to cut out a lot, cause I don't know how to feel about this, but yeah, I'm back up to this point. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. I see where they're going with this, but I don't have to like how we're getting there. So yeah, this is, oh man, like a very long time after the fact, because I saved way earlier in the trial, but yeah, just gonna cut out all of the like incorrect logic, I guess, and incorrect choices. But yeah, what I want to present for this, show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. I want to present this newspaper clipping. I guess you're supposed to look at that and see, like with Luke's hand, like he has it specifically right there, so you can see his hand. But in his sprite in court, he's constantly showing off his ring, and he made special, like a special point to bring up the fact, you know, like, oh, there's a red jewel on this ring. And right here it says, if you don't, I'll take the red diamond you received the other day instead. So I guess we're supposed to present the newspaper clipping to... I guess? Oh, no, because he said he would receive presents from redelivering the like stolen artifacts, so that ring could have been a present that he didn't have then. I'll just go along with that. I still don't know how to feel about this being the correct thing. But I don't know, maybe they'll pull me back in, but yeah, this... I feel like they should have had a question here, like, oh, what's the contradicting piece of evidence? And then I would actually, like, select the line that states it, because I know they did this in either the first or second game, where they asked you, like, okay, what's the weird thing in this like list of things, and you would have to choose the correct page. In this case, they could have did it line by line, like, or segment by segment, like what's the weird segment here, or what's the thing that stands out. And then there could even be a list of options, like on Phoenix's thing, like the fact that they talk about a red diamond. But yeah, apparently I have to present this. I feel very bad for having to look this up, but I was at a complete loss, and I was at my wit's end. That is actually okay. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel. Well, what about it? The problem is this jewel's color. He painted the... Okay. Color. I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the tear of Emanon that Mask to Mask stole at all. When was it ever stated that it was? When was it ever implied that it was? Did I miss something?
Objection.
And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you were trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else. That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite? That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, it is what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. The way we got to this was so roundabout. Unless the only thing I can think of is that I should have pressed on more than what I figured would be the weakest point. Maybe. Yeah, because Luke was going on and on about the, blackmail letter and everything that, Kane was investigating. I probably should have pressed on everything. Tempted to look up a long play. Like, I don't know how long plays for Phoenix Wright games usually go. Do they just go straight to the correct answers, or do they show like what happens if you press on everything? I'm genuinely curious now to see like if they would have explained if I pressed harder on many of his statements. That's probably where I missed it. Because they were probably going to dissect through the blackmail letter. Like, okay, well, what's this jewel he's talking about? Oh, clearly he's talking about the jewel of Emanon, the first thing. Or, well, yeah, because I did look over this at one point. Because I don't think I mentioned it, but it did stick out to me. Yeah, there's only like one jewel in here. The rest are artifact, sculpture, painting. So they probably would have said like, oh, he was talking about the jewel of Emanon that was stolen. The red jewel of Emanon. And then I would look through the newspaper clipping to see like, oh, but wait, that jewel is blue. Okay, if it's my fault for wasting 30 minutes of my day, all because I didn't press on everything during that testimony, then I will own up to that. I usually do too, but I was like, oh wait, I got him now, I got him, I know exactly where this is heading, and apparently I didn't. Was Kane Bullard actually blackmailing? Well, I stated this way earlier. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You have been personally involved in every single Mask to Mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And received a jewel as your reward. A jewel. Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. Conspicuously, my god. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. I'd already arrived at that, but yeah, I probably should have. Okay, fine. I guess even going forward, if I do know like the correct answer, or I figure I know the correct answer rather, I'll just go ahead and press on everything. Because to be fair, I was sort of doing the same in Danganronpa too, like letting the whole non-stop debate play out and then going for the weak point. So Yeah, I should just keep doing the same here. Press on everything and then present my evidence, because, you know, you want to avoid the monkey wrenches. Order! Order in the court! Order, I say? It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite. Uh-oh. I don't like the way he said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke at me. Are you for real? Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him. Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atmey's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep secret. So just what was that identity? Atmey killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity... Oh, that's a lot of damage. That Luke Atmey wanted to so desperately keep secret was his identity as... Okay, well, it's not that, because he wanted everyone to know he was an ace detective. He wasn't Mask to Mask. That was Ron, so... Wow. So Kane was blackmailing the blackmailer? Who blackmails the blackmailer? I don't think that would be a good sequel to The Watchmen. But let's go with this. It's the only one that makes sense. That one's not even that hard. Luke Atmey was a blackmailer.
Objection.
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atmey. Are you saying that Atmey was blackmailing someone else on top of that? You have to admit, that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense, see? Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey. But Ron Delight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So did you start to receive blackmail letters starting after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ron Delight was actually Mask to Mask. That's what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atmey. Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you... Oh, come on, phone, really? You said that I, Luke Atmey, was blackmailing Ron Delight? In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask to Mask. Just talking over the phone. Oh my god, please answer. Thank you. Okay. Well, yes. Ron Delight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atmey know that Ron Delight was Mask to Mask? During the first crime? I mean, we have this newspaper clipping. The guard in the photo is Ron. Let me just make sure. I'll present it. I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clipping. Wow, they getting real tricky with this game where it's like you're presenting like one piece of evidence multiple times. Hey, alright. This newspaper clipping. It had a picture of you and Ron DeLight in his guard uniform. It seems that the mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme? That's when you learned that under his mask, the mask was really Ron DeLight. What the? What is he supposed to be, Master Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. Can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud! Trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. Why how dare you expose me like that? Why I mean, I never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective, and also Mask the Mask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Why you? How dare you even... Oh my god. Well, he does want to try something you said with those big mouths of yours. You're real fools. I say none of you can compare your days. You're really just jealous. Okay, that looked like Italian. It's enough to make one laugh. He lost me with those with that like little Italian, I'm guessing, rant in there. Since we've finally gotten to the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme.
Objection.
This guy. The hammer. It strikes too fast, there's no time to aim. Well, what do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my sentence. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. Damn. You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite. Where do you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Lou Atme was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bull. But... there's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way. Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright? This is it. This is the final round. Gotta prove that Atme was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night. But, can you really prove that? That's long enough, Mr. Trite. I want to hear your answer. That night, Luke Atme was at KB Security, and the defense... You can prove it? No fingerprints, he's wearing gloves. Is that where we're really gonna go? The defense can prove it, with evidence. Are you sure? Ha! Don't you worry, I'll watch over you. As you break down and fall to pieces. Very well then, let's see this proof. Proof that Luke Atme was at KB Security that night. Well, that's not solid proof. Okay. All right. What we got here? What we got? Found in Ron's wallet. Used night of the crime. No, that just states that Ron was there. I'm gonna try. We are really going with that. That he was wearing okay. Anyone could have just pressed it with their elbow or something. This is the proof. It's true. That is very important. However, I'm not so foolish as to think that will pass for evidence here. Ah, shit. Okay. The music went down and had me thinking like, oh, all right then. Or the true flavor of life. Ow. Flavor of my special Godot blend number 49. Well, Mr. Wright? It's bitter. Very bitter. Come on, Nick. Don't give up now. What do I do? If I make a mistake here, it's over. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. But if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony, oh yeah, just get his testimony as to where he actually was.
Objection.
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean. What? Have you forgotten? Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as mask to mask. No. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective, as well as mask to mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Order! Order in the court! That's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this. This rate Ron is... Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and... By then it'll be too late. Huh? Why? Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, a defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Atmey will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as mask to mask, which means he'll be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned. No way. The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atmey's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer. Hold it. Oh shit. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atmey, will go free. Well, I mean, for about 10 to 15 years, with possibility of parole or whatever you get for grand larceny. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. And as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? And I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atmey. Hold it. Who said that? Whose voice was that? Was that Desiree? I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. How dare you? Phoenix, oh my fucking god, it's Mia. Raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice? No way. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Kane channeling technique. I know it's really Maya who's standing before me. But right now, she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. Testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but... Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Oh my fucking god. Are they working into my hubris? Is my hubris actually a game mechanic? Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the detective as well as Master the Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. Oh, we can... Because he was making claims here, we can actually cross-examine on those. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. So if he has some full-fledged evidence that Ron did it, he should be able to provide it. Okay, yes, but those comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well, we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor? Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Nothing. Oh, Sir Lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at... Let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Godot, what are you... Very well then, look at me. I'll allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer. So please, give us one last bit of testimony. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. The last testimony. Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron Delight. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zvari. Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. Witnesses' earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All these points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But How'd you know about the emergency buzzer? Police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer. Yeah. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. We cannot postpone Luke Abney's trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec. Just one chance? Ha. Seems that the party's about to begin. Oh, God. Wait, okay. Safety save. Sorry. I'm not going through this again. Okay. I've already been recording for ages. Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. You can't point out a case-breaking contradiction. You lose. That's all there is to it. Cup number 17. The last cup. Seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Alright, I can do that. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. Alright. Alright, I can do this. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination. Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. Thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. Wait. Because these were retrieved from Larry. He wouldn't have known about those prior to the trial. We were the only ones that had them. Yeah, the buzzer was in the CEO's office, but he wouldn't have known about these. Make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. Button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. That's a contradiction too. Like, why would the killer want to sound it? Oh my god. It could be either or, really. I guess this is the only thing we can do. If Ron was the killer, why would he want to sound the buzzer? Mr. Atmey, about this last remark, I'm so glad I waited because I sure was going to present the wallet thing, but then he could just say like, well, even though I didn't know about them, the fact that they showed up and like were relevant to the case means that my deductions were correct. That only strengthens my case.
Objection.
What? You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This is the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement. What? I said this before. Still one thing you haven't proven. This scum was in Kane Bullard's office that night. And now it's time for me to drink my last cup. Really? What? What? Okay, well then. Alright. Okay. I'm glad I did that safety save. Alright, what the fuck? Thought I was on to something. Apparently not. The more that I think about it, the more I probably shouldn't press on this. Because even though, like, he could have picked up the fact that, like, the car key and the wallet, like, that was, like, he could say, oh, well, he looked at the records for the card key during the investigation. Unless... Wait a minute. I know I'm not going to be presenting anything, but... No. Wait. Oh, damn. This might be the case here. Because... like, we have to come up with a contradiction that proves he was there. And to be fair, he was not in this trial when Ron DeLite was on the stand. And we did learn from Ron that he was wearing his costume. That was stated before we got you in here. So how would you know this? Okay, well, guess I'm wrong again. Yeah, okay. Oh my god. Fine. Just what am I... Wait. Oh. Okay, I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. What? Mr. Atme, it seems you have finally admitted that you were on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atme? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. DeLite was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, is that correct? Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry. Whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron DeLite was dressed as Mask to Mask when he went to the scene of the crime? That was, it was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare. Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right, the defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Got him. You understand now, Detective Atme? There is no way that you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom being tried as Mask to Mask. So then, enlighten us. Just how do you know about that piece of information? Well... Come on, this detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand. And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. DeLite was wearing his Mask to Mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atme to have found that out. Only one? One way, you say? Please remember, if you will, Mr. DeLite's testimony. I entered the office. There was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
Objection.
Mr. Delight never saw him. There's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atme. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now if you turn that statement around, it stands to follow that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Detective Atme, you saw Mask to Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. What? Okay. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. That's the same line you gave yesterday. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. His breakdown was not that satisfying. What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atme tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Mask to Mask in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with this plan. To use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me? I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me! Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict? I know. You never committed any murder. That's right. So glad you understand that. But, I really am Mask to Mask. Huh. So, thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it, I've been careless. Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. Oh my god. Oh my god. So, because we got him off yesterday, he can't be tried for the same crimes even though we know damn well he did them. Oh my god. That's outstanding. The defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. Then, Mask to Mask is really innocent? For now. It would seem so. For now. Now then, this court finds a defendant. Wow. So one fake verdict and one real one. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, that isn't so good after all. See, the thing is, I still am Mask to Mask after all. Well, Desiree ain't gonna be happy about that. You did it, Nick. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of lost these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Kane channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. You mean Misty Faye? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all this is happening. Come on, just be happy already. Maya, you've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as mask to mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming mask to mask. I did it all for one reason. For her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became mask to mask? Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. What? I can? Kind of wish you would check with me first. Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there is always a way to put it back together. Oh my fucking god, am I gonna have to present the urn? Because of how perfect it is, and it says Ami now. Okay. The sacred urn? Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. That's not why I thought we would be presenting it then. Okay. There you are. Miss Delight. You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that. But, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB Quit, okay. Quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really mask to mask, either. Miss Delight, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away. Well, that sounds creepy. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Then you hate him. Like that detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. What? Okay, she's insane. And I thought they were gonna go for the thing like, well, I hate convicted criminals. See, but no, she's just insane. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red. Oh, great, here she is. Mr. Nick, Mystic Maya, congratulations! Talk about bad timing. Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife in front of Mystic Maya. No, you got it all wrong. I never forgive you. Never, ever. How you getting beat up by a 9-year-old, man? Who do you think you are, Kenny Omega? So just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together, even better than before. Which makes no sense. How are the pieces broken so perfectly like that twice? Regardless, that's it for that chapter in a very, very long recording session. Oh my god. 3 hours and 15 minutes. I have no clue how long this this video is going to be. But 3 hours and 15 minutes. Thank you, game overs. I really appreciate you. So, next time, recipe for a turnabout. Am I going to be defending Paula Deen? Is she back at it again? With butter crimes? Okay, well, this is looking all epic. Alright then. I'm so gonna pull off that fit one day. I just need a vest. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Have a great day and see you next time for the start of episode 3. Goodbye.